Krishna Hare Hare. I'm going to share my screen. Can somebody confirm if you can see this?
Yes, bro.
Okay, thank you. So we'll start from here. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chakshur-unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim Yat kripa-tadam bande Shri Gurundim Taranam Pramanand Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Vishwaram Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare राम संकीर्तन की जय कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय सिमल भक्त वृंद की जय नित्य गौर नंदी हरि हरि बोल Hare Krishna. So, welcome you all. We'll start. We'll just give you the quick summary what we have been talking. So, this session is about Vedic education system, and the major emphasis that we had on last class was source of all the information, all the knowledge that we have is Veda. Veda means knowledge. So that's very important to understand. And different version of that exists in different format. So source is only one. And how to know that? If you study Srimad Bhagavatam, mostly Canto 2 and some part of Canto 3, you will see descriptions are given that how everything came from Lord Himself. So source of knowledge is one. And what that does is it brings us together. Although there might appear some segmentation to it, there are different faith, different religions, different beliefs appears to be completely different. But in reality, we as a follower of Vaishnava school of theology have to understand that they are talking the same thing, but in different format. When Vidura is talking to Maitreya Muni, Vidura asks that I see that living entities are in different segments. Some are more confused, some are less confused, some are so confused that they don't even have respect for themselves. They are completely lost. So why it is? He said, why it is? Some seems to be very God conscious, some seems to be not. There are different variety of people at different stage their consciousness. Then Maitreya Muni is saying that this is due to impurity. They are impure. The degree of impurity is different in different living being. And that impurity make them think, make them feel, make them will to do certain things. But in reality, it's nothing but the degree of impurity that they have. So further he says that once they are in the purest state, purest of the purest, then they will have only one consciousness. Very important statement. So different understanding and identification is nothing according to Matrimony but degree of impurity. The more impure we are, we become atheist. We have no faith in any form of existence. But if we have little bit less impurity, then we work either with mind, intelligence, or false ego, or demigods, or Brahman, or Brahmatma, Bhagwan. You have seen that slide that I normally talk. Different degree of understanding. But in purest state, there is only one consciousness. So the source of all the knowledge doesn't matter now where it exists. And we should very profoundly, very strongly make this a statement. The source of all the knowledge is Veda. No doubt about it. Let people say whatever they are saying on your face. Sometimes you have to hear, even if you don't want to hear, but let ourselves be convinced that source of all the knowledge that exists, education that we have right now, any form of material or spiritual education, source is Veda. The Lord Himself is very common. The Lord Himself has to be the source. There is no other source. You and I have manipulated the information, not created. Lord Brahma himself, when he's talking about the process of creation, he says that all I have done is that taken the primary element that Lord has created and put them in different proportion to create different living entity. But the original primary element, earth, water, fire, air, ether, that we talk about, this is coming from Lord himself. Lord Brahma is telling that to Narad Muni, that I really have not really created this original element, but I have manipulated it in different proportion. And in that proportion, you will see 8.4 million species of life, Brahma says. So this is a very good example to understand this concept that original source is Lord himself, but mankind has done different degree of manipulation to it. And they have come to different understanding, which is fine. We are not, going against that. So when Srila Prabhupada was interviewed by so many outsider, he was asked that what do you believe about this person? What do you think about Jesus Christ? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Prabhupada has no objection with that. I will see some of his classes. He said that we are not here to convert people, you know, and that is a very strong concept that we carry. We don't believe in converting people. Prabhupada said, what is the point? Hindu become Islam, Islam becomes Hindu. Today you are believing Allah, tomorrow you start believing somebody else, Indra or Shiva or Ganesh. What is the point of that? What does it really matter for you or for any living entity? He said, what matters the most is how much you love God. Very profound statement. How much you love God. That is more important than so-called being Christian or Hindu or Muslim or Sikh or Sai or Jain or you can be anything. Whatever. That's really not meaningful. So that's what this chart is showing. That source of all, if there was no knowledge, there was one knowledge, Vedic wisdom, and that was given by Lord Himself. Okay, but over the time, and this is just an example, that a Mughal came and their goal was to convert They didn't care, are you a spiritual or not a spiritual? They forced people. They broke the temple. They forced people, and they converted people from Hinduism to Islam. They didn't really focus on inspiring people to love God. Rather, they just converted people. British government came, and they had their own objective. They wanted to make the money out of India. So we talked about this slide, that there was a report that was presented in British Assembly, and what the report was saying, that India has a very strong education system, and multiple authors have written many books. I told you last time that there is one professor, and some of them, not one but many, they are researching on Indian knowledge system, IKS it's called, Indian knowledge system, and they are finding out that in fact everything that is existing out there is coming from Lord himself. So he presented that this report, TV Maclay, and what he said, that India has a very strong educational system. And at that time, some of the universities such as Nalanda, Taxila, Amravati, those were the center for education, and people from all over the place, international, like we come here as international student, people were coming as international student to India, Nalanda, Taxila, to study. So India had very strong, or Bharatvarsha, let's put it that way, Bharatvarsha has a very strong education system. But over the time, he said that if we want to rule over this Bharatvarsha, if we have to rule over this Bharatvarsha, we need to break down their education system. First, we have to confuse them. We have to make them feel that what they believe in is indigenous tribes type of system. So every part of India has multiple language, even today. So they said that if people talk in different language, how many language we can learn? You can never rule over them. So tell them that their language is tribes language. It's garbage. It's just not making any sense. They should learn English. So they started English system. Gurukula, they were teaching in Sanskrit, Vedic teaching. They said that this has to stop. What is the application of this education? This is not going to be very career oriented. So you have to do something that is more of a career oriented, science, technology, engineering, and math, a STEM that we call so far students. These are the terms they said. Just forget about this. This is not going to do any good to you. Learn about science, learn about technology, learn about engineering, do the math. So this is what British did very recently to Bharatvarsha. Likewise, there are so many other thing happened. This industrial revolution that we know about or heard, this did a lot of damage. This industrial revolution, 1820 to 1940, that is the era for this revolution. What they did at that time, focus on industrial development, try to earn the means of livelihood. That was their emphasis. Forget about character building and any other form of Vedic wisdom. What it's doing to you, it's not doing any good. And then over the time, this modern education system that we see today has come upon us, and this this is forcing us to believe more in artificial type of knowledge that is so called. Artificial has one meaning. The another meaning is knowledge that is imposed upon the pure knowledge. So pure knowledge is knowledge of Veda. We are a spirit soul. We are not this body, believing in Supreme Personality of Godhead, reviving. That's the purpose, when it says of Naimisharanya, they are talking to Sutta Goswami. They are saying that, this whole material creation that we are part of, this has purpose. He says the purpose is number one, prosperity of the living entity in material content. And then second, moksha. Bhoga artham, moksha artham, we call it. This is coming in first chapter, maybe verse number 10 or 12. It says that the purpose of this creation is bhoga artham and moksha artham. But what they did, the modern education system did, is that this moksha part completely deleted, completely gone. They don't teach people about liberation, about something higher than what you and I can see. Rather, they focus more on how to be prosperous materially, how we can make ourselves prosperous, what we can do, job, this, that, career oriented. So that's how they basically focus on. So you can see how the damage of the original teaching have happened. This, I have a bigger presentation, this subject, but I'm just going through some summarized format of it. There are more text to it, but I have to keep it a little simple so that we can talk something else later. So that's what has happened. There is the original teaching of Veda has lost. So what is Vedic education system? Vedic education system is based on the spiritual culture, which means it is teaching about character and higher purpose, the human existence. Why you and I are in this form, what is our purpose, what we are doing, why we are so different, why your language and my language is different. There is something way higher than why what you and I are part of. So Vedic wisdom teaches that. It is basically develops the spiritual value, the value system that is aligned with Guru Sastra and Sadhu. Value system. I read some term, value system. Value system is the system that you believe in, the knowledge base that you believe in, which are aligned with the Guru Sastra and Sadhu. So Vedic education is emphasizing on spiritual development. And this can be presented in a formal way. And formal way is basically under institutional setup such as in Gurukul or any school format. You do the course, and after doing the course, you get the certificate. Like today, so-called education system that we have in a school, you go, you third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, you get the certificate, right? So that's formal education system. So Vedic education system was also happening in a formal setup. Doesn't matter you are son of a king or son of a poor man, servant, the king. You go to the same school and you do the education on the same platform, sitting on the ground, sitting on the floor, no distinction, no uh, you know uh, misunderstanding that who is who, doesn't matter whoever you are. So that was the formal setup. And then I have seen this, I don't know how many of you have seen. Another setup was non-formal setup where a learned person or a very self-realized person will visit the community of the people. Like I have seen in my childhood that people from Ayodhya or people from Vrindavan, they will come and then they will stay for a week, 2 week. And every evening they will have program. They will stay at somebody's house and then Everybody will come in the evening and then he will do Bhagavad Saptah or Ramayana Katha and give people spiritual values. Talk about Lord Rama, Lord Shiva, Lord Krishna, who they are, who we are. So non-formal type of setup. And then the third one is informal. And informal is perfect example. We teaching our kids. Parents are teaching our kids, do this, you should not do that. You should get up in the morning, take shower, go to the DT room. First have the darshan of Lord. Then you start your day like that. All of these informal things, right? The moral thing that we say. So the Vedic education was imparted to the living entity in this way. It could be formal, it could be non-formal, or it could be informal. But the goal was to build the character, build the personality, and take that person higher, higher than what normally perceive, what normally we can learn from the surrounding. Knowledge has to come from self-realized person, somebody who is higher, who has seen the truth. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that they have seen the truth, hence they will impart you the truth. So that's the concept. But the real knowledge, the knowledge about the spiritual values, have to come from higher person. And the interesting point is that this knowledge was not only character building, but also he did talk about philosophy, which was mostly about God consciousness, but it also talked about science. There was science. There was some, like, you can see Dhanu Vidya, multiple type of, sciences, how to do farming, how to do, other aspect of agriculture. There was education about that. And there were kings, there were rishis. So they did talk about politics, right? And then the king had to maintain their citizens. So they did talk about economic development. So these things were there too, by the way. So that's why, I wanted to talk about that part. That one should not think that when the Vedic system was functioning, at that time human being missed something. You and I were bereft of some part of knowledge that now we are getting today. There's nothing like that. So the Vedic education itself was a full package. It has all aspects. Okay. But the major aspect was that it was helping build the character of the person. Now, today's education system, everything else is happening, but except building the character. Jena, tena, prakarena. However, whatever you can do, this is what the modern management gurus are teaching. Give priority to yourself, focus on yourself, self-respect, these and that, so many things. Only on self. You have to make sure that you survive, make sure that you are being respected. These are all material thing or today's education system, not the modern education system. Modern education system has different value. The value system was completely different. Respect the senior, love the junior, create the harmony. All of that has over the time completely, completely, completely degraded. So now what we have is a very diluted form. Some, again, whatever we believe, whatever we do, the bottom line is that it's coming from original source, Lord Himself. No doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. But what we have right now that we are following is very degraded, very diluted version of what exactly education system was. And even if we study Bhagavad Gita now, let me give the other aspect of this understanding. Even if you study Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, we are trying to bring that knowledge down where I can understand. Transformation means going up, not coming down. You go up and pick up wherever it is. Try to see and then go from there. So that's what the you know uh, society is today. They'll say that Bring everything down, bring everything down. And we are doing it. We have to do it, no doubt about it. But we have to do it. It should be both way. You come down and then go up also, not come down and stay there. Then what transformation is happening, right? So why this teaching is very important? Because it should help you understand the complexity that we are dealing with. First, have to have the faith. It's very important. Everything starts with faith. If you don't have faith, then I don't. I have a good life. I have a good family, good job. Everything is going good. I don't want to disturb it. Let it go. Well, yeah, Punarapi Janmam, Punarapi Marnam. That you can continue. But every action has a reaction. Krishna does say in Bhagavad Gita. So you are getting the reaction and you are getting bound. So higher intelligence is that come out of it. Okay. And when we are coming out of it and trying to establish the value system that is based on Vedic teaching, Guru Sastra and Sadhu, first question comes, what is the relevance of it? What is the relevance if I become Sadhu? If everybody becomes Sadhu like that, who will conduct the material world? We have to give this teaching. We have to go back and tell them that they were not missing any philosophy. They were not missing any politics. It's not like that there was no economic development. India is, or Bharatvarsha is poor now. They said that at some point it was it was bird of gold. Everywhere gold, gold, gold. So what are you talking about? This is not becoming too traditional, but logically becoming smart and being able to present the fact, because we have to save the mankind, save this poor living entity who are suffering, going through the cycle of birth and death. We have to very profoundly, whatever capability or strength we have, establish that Vedic learning, develop their faith in Vedic teaching. So that's the point of all the discussion that we are doing today. So I'll give a pause here. I know I have a lot of information. I'll keep on talking. And I would like to hear from you. So he says that the Vedic education system, the goal was self-realization, not career building. Okay, what we have to do so that we can uh, build the character, right? Character building is not the subject right now that we are talking. Body, mind, intellect, soul. Yeah, if you research it, that's what it says. But most important thing is that is Vedic education system is helping living entity to be a self-realized person, a spiritual being. That is the purpose, not the material being. And we have, I'm sorry to say that, but we have degraded ourselves so much. Now we have become a material being. Our emotions are being controlled by material flux. I, me, mine, me power, that power. But we have to do something right to establish this value system, whatever it has to do. Somebody has to come forward and take the pain. We have to take the pain. This thing is not going to happen just staying in our comfort zone. Also, we have to come out and we have to try to establish this learning. This is a very important slide that I'm going to talk. This is coming from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But before I do that, I would like to hear from you if you are finding this helpful. Does it really seems to be meaningful for you, or this is just some sort of concept that right now doesn't seem any relevance to you? So can somebody talk about it? So far, whatever we have talked, what is your understanding, what you are learning before I get into this slide? Would like to talk? Just summarize whatever we have talked so far and what you are understanding. I'd like to know that if we are understanding the things right, because definitely there will be yeah,
You were saying correctionable.
horrible.
That Vedic knowledge is the pure knowledge. It directly come from the Lord, and the purpose is mainly character building and self-realization. That's the purpose. And most important point that you mentioned is it's not like it lacked whatever the current education system is bringing in, like economical development, political, all those, all those aspects included, in addition to self-realization and focusing on establishing a relationship with the Lord. And I think that's what the main message that you're saying. Every
Wow.
message is
Yeah.
coming as a transformation of the original knowledge. It's not like anything was invented. Even the knowledge today, the source is the goes back to the Vedic knowledge, which came directly from the Lord. I think that's the summary of what you mentioned.
Yeah. Very good summary, Prabhu. Thank you so much. You should teach.
That's
Yes. Very nice. Yes.
you know
That is the point. Yes.
we talked about transformation last week, Prabhu. I think you mentioned transformation has to start from you. That's the response that you gave last week, which I agree, 100% agree. I think my thought here is also this is not something just impacting you, right? It's like if let's say if I'm understanding today, this is what I need to follow. Um, it's my education system to some extent is done. I can learn about it, but that's not going to necessarily I'm going to change my career or I'm going to back to Gurukul or something. But it's if I'm trying to implement something like this, even if I'm transforming, I'm not in that transform state. I can tell that. But even if I do that, I'm impacting others in in the system, right? In the society, in my um, immediate family or whatever we think about, and it it's the fear is always, what if they come back and then say, this is all because of, whoever decision my family made. I'm in this kind of situation, right? It's more than us. That's what I'm trying to say. The impact is, it's more than us. That
Mm. Very nice, Prabhu. Very nice. Thank you. Continue, Prabhu. If you still have to say something, please
No, I
continue.
think that's my thought process was going in my mind. Like it's not just one person changing, transforming. It's the impact is definitely more than that, and then the buy-in has to come, the strong bind, right? It's not like just this thing. Oh yeah, let's try it out. That's not definitely the mindset we should be in. I don't know. That's kind of what is going on in my thought.
Yeah, very good. Prabhupada uh, was very brilliant devotee, extremely brilliant. So his plan or his vision was that people who are so-called the top layer of the society, if they start buying into this concept over the time, things will automatically change. So people who are highly educated, they're professor or some big guy, mayors or prime minister or chief minister type of people, if they believe in certain concept, then the follower automatically will believe in that concept. So 100% right, he said. And this slide will answer that part. We are not trying to force people to go to a stone age. That is not the point. Sometimes people misunderstand it. It's about, I mean, the system, this is Kali Yuga, okay? Sarvakaram Karnam is Krishna himself. Things have happened over the time. So very quickly, you cannot revive, you cannot put it back. For sure, we cannot. But then there is some consciousness that one has to carry. Okay. And that's the point, we are trying to drive here. That the complexity. I said the word complexity around you, but in that whole complexity that is existing, you have to be the carrier of the truth. And what is truth? Krishna cannot lie, Ved Vyas cannot lie. Narad Muni cannot be the liar. When sometimes some people comes and challenge me, why you guys are so much after Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. I said, I can be false. My intelligence can be limited. But Prabhupada's intelligence is not limited. Six Goswamis, I go back to them. So that they cannot be limited. So my faith is through them. That's why disciple succession, Prabhupada said, is very, very important to understand the succession. Now there is succession, we know we talked about that in the material world also, right? The scientists and the research community, they also have the disciplic succession, right? But this concept of disciplic succession is coming from Veda. They take the research paper of somebody and take the assumption that somebody has researched and found XYZ, and then they research from there. That's basically Shiksha Guru, disciplic succession. So we also have the disciplic succession, but in our disciplic succession, we are learning from Krishna, learning from Narad, learning from Vyasdev, Lord Brahma, right? So that's the thing we're trying. We are not trying to say that it's just too far off here. It's okay. You understand that we have brought far off. We have to start somewhere, but no, the origin is here, source is here. That consciousness has to be there, and then if all the living entity, wherever they are, if they become God conscious, Krishna conscious, then ultimately, this Vedic education system is being established. You and I are following many things that that is coming from Vedic education system. Krishna's teaching is Krishna's teaching. That's you and I are trying to do. So you and I become devotee or try to become devotee means we are already establishing that type of environment around us. People who are watching us, seeing us, they appreciate that. So very good point. Very good point. Anything else anybody has? I just want to keep on talking because this is a very important concept. I want to make sure that you are learning some aspect of it. Ronald Prabhu very nicely gave a good summary. Anybody, anything that they would like to talk before we move to this slide? This class I cannot do verbal. I have to have the presentation because there are so many things that you would be first time seeing. So if you see it, then it will have better impact on your consciousness. I'm not repeating something that you and I have heard many times. Udita and Anudita Vivek. I'm sure that many of you might be hearing first time. This is coming from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So we'll talk about it. Anything anybody has to talk before we proceed to this slide?
It's just one thing which, Prabhuji, you mentioned about character building in Vedic education, which is so important. And this reminds me, even the modern education system, we often talk about, there is one saying which goes, if wealth is lost, nothing is lost. Health is lost, something
Mhm.
is lost. If character is
Everything
lost,
is love.
everything is lost.
Yeah.
And I mean, it holds true in today's scenario as well. But I mean, this one verse, we just tell, and then we don't dwell into it. We don't go deep into it to understand how character is important. Why is it so important? And when I work in, because I have some experience in working in my area of research, and why it becomes so important, because you have to be ethical in your research. And these days there are so many, uh, you know, so many things coming up where unethical research is reported. So there we lack character. And this character building becomes so important besides acquiring skills and career building. Because during those times when you know that something has gone wrong, you got to have that courage to get up and say, yeah, there is something wrong. And no matter at what point you are in your career, you have to stand up and say. And for that, you need to have such kind of education, that character building in yourself, so that you have that integrity and you're fearless to say that. And most of us lack in today's day and age because we are in a kind of race. Oh, let's get it done. Doesn't matter. So I think, yeah, the whole thing is this character building aspect from Vedic education is very important for youngsters, for people like me, even at my age, and it will help us in pursuing our career as well.
Thank you. We are talking about it, and up to some degree, it making sense. So you can basically. try to solve the symptoms of the problem, or you can
Mm-hmm.
fix the root cause. This is dealing with the root cause.
Yes.
This topic is very important topic, extremely important topic, because this will have multiple impact on our understanding. It's not only saying that this is the problem, this is the problem, this is the problem, fix like that. No, we are
Mm.
doing root cause analysis. The cause of our problem is not because what we are dealing with today, but how it has
Yeah.
been imposed on us over the years. So much dilution has happened, and now what we are getting is a very diluted format of that presentation. Okay, so
Right.
yes, we have to go back, very very back, and first try to see where is the problem. When Vidura and
Mm-hmm.
Maitreya Muni is talking, you know, Sukhani karmani karoti loke. He says that all living entity is so powerful, but you have to understand that discussions. So it says
Mm.
Sukhani karmani. This whole living beings are working so hard
Yeah.
for Sukha.
Mm.
But my dear Lord, Vidura is saying, I see everybody suffering. They all
Mm.
who do not want a Sukha Parviti, Dukha Nivriti. We want to be happy, Sukha Parviti. This is basically the karmic uh, way of understanding, karmic way of making distinctions. Dukha Nivriti, they want to come out of the suffering. And Sukha Parviti, they are intended to go towards the happiness. And for that, they're killing everything. Nothing. Nobody is important. I am the most important.
Mm.
This is material mind,
Yeah.
karmic mind. I am the most important, not giving the value of the Vedic system, not having the respect for the authority. Prabhupada said that there is a system. You have to work through the system, crossing over everything. I am the big, I am the best, no respect. Why? Because material mind. On the garb of
Mm.
spirituality, it's material thinking. So we have to go back and see where is this problem coming from. So this, don't think this is a very simple topic. Don't think that this is just something that has no relevance. My goal is
Mm.
to go back and keep on telling you how this thing is very important for us. Prabhupada said
Mm.
that one child was crying. Somebody came and gave chocolate. The child was very happy, ate the chocolate. But as soon as chocolate was over, he started crying. Somebody else came and said that why you are crying. Talk some nice word to the person, and said that the child said that don't worry, one day we'll meet to your father. And then they left like that. Everybody came and tried to console and give some support to that baby. The baby kept on crying. One man came and he said, why this baby is crying? Because this baby has lost his parent. So then he talked to
Mm.
the baby and find out who you are, where are you from? Can you a little bit tell me how where you came from, how you came from, all that information. And they said that let me go back, let me take you back to your mom and dad. And then the child became eternally happy. These are not simple example to that we talk. Go back, go back. So this is root cause analysis, going back and trying where the problem has come. You and I are subject of this delusion. Nothing to criticize, I know, but also we have to understand that we have to reform because we have been diluted, degraded by so-called, knowledge that has been imposed upon us. So yes, and today's society,
Mm.
if you go to the corporate, that's what you see. They will say moral values only up to the extent they can make profit. They say that the
Mm.
moral value has importance only up to the extent that makes it, money for the company, for the organization. It's everything around profit. But character building is not about that, right?
Mm.
Not about that. Perfect example is King Harishan. He lost his kingdom, he lost everything, but he didn't, lost his character one by one, one by. He was being tested for sure. You know the story of King Harishan, how
Yeah.
much suffering he had to go through. But he said that no, I have told the truth, I have given the word, I'll stick with it. That's character. That's character. Not manipulating things and
Mm.
in fact one of the scientists was telling that today there is no politics. What we do is diplomacy, he said.
Mhm.
There is no politics. Politics is gone. Politics is killed because politics is for the welfare of the people. But on the name of politics, we are doing diplomacy. He said this is diplomacy. So things we have to go back. So this knowledge system, Vedic education system, will put us back. At least convince us. That, hey, you belong here. Now you have come far down here. That's fine, but understand that your mom and dad still lives in India. You are here. I'm just giving the example. So that's how it is. Good, very good understanding. Anybody else anything to share? I want to make sure that the knowledge is being digested and it's being taken in a proper context. I gave too much of the information and find out that the context is not clear. Then it's not meaningful. So I'll do presentations like this. Very different type of discussions that will help you understand what is the root problem, what is the main problem. So this is one of them. I personally love this, and many of these slides that you are seeing are coming from some research, some study. Bhaktivinoda Thakur and other acharyas, what they are saying about this whole thing. So this is not something that a standard presentation that you'll find somewhere else and somebody else will give this presentation. No, this is created by Ramacharya Das. I have been dedicated my time to study these things over the years to understand. So this Udita Vivek, Anandita Viveka, this is coming from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So we'll talk about some of these things. Okay, anything anybody has to share before we get into this topic? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Jaya Dharma, he says there are a variety of people. If you look around, he says there are variety of people, varieties of people, right? There are so many variety of people. But he said this whole group of people that we have out there can be put into these two categories. He says Udita Viveka and Unudita Viveka. Udit means manifested. Vivek is wisdom, right? So awaken wisdom and sankuchitaha or covered, anuditaha, not manifested, unmanifested. So manifested wisdom and unmanifested wisdom. If you say in English, that's how you can get close to. So there are living entities who are of these two categories. All the living entities, he said, that can be put into this two category. And then he said that the people who are of Udita Viveka, manifested wisdom, their value system is awakened based upon their spiritual belief, he said. And the way they act, the way they conduct, the way they do things, it's all aligned with Guru Shastra and Sadhu. An example is the Vaishnavism that you and I are following, but he said it's very rare. So this Udita Vivek category of people is very rare. Krishna does say, Manusyanam swasya sukasid vyakti, out of thousands of the people, many few will even endeavor towards perfection. And thousands of them who are endeavoring toward perfection, many will even come to know me. And many who will come to know me, very few of them will know me as a truth. So it's not something that is not spoken by Lord. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that these Udit Viveka people are very, very rare. Now, if I really look at the way Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given the definition of Udit Viveka, I don't think that I fall into that category. Maybe if Prabhupada gives mercy, Krishna gives mercy, and if our consciousness is more awakened, maybe one day. But he says it's very, very rare. This Udit Viveka category of the people is very rare. But on the other hand, he says that there is another people who are Anudit Viveka, and they have very high slumber or material consciousness. So slumbering word has multiple degree of understanding, but slash material consciousness also. Material consciousness is very gross, but there is some other form of consciousness too. Don't take it wrong. There are some other form of consciousness. So all of that is falling under Anudita Vivek. There is, this manifestation of the wisdom has happened up to some extent, but not up to the full extent. Some extent, up to some degree, the wisdom has manifested, and they have no aspiration. They don't aspire for self-realization. Their goals are different goal. Short-term goal, long-term goal, whatever goal, mid-term goal, whatever the goals are. The goals have nothing to do with self-realization. And he says most of the people. So this Anudita Vivek is a vast group of population. This is confidential, coming from very great Acharya. So not to be offended, but just take it as a subject of learning. Okay, this is how it is. He said that the majority of the people are of Anudita Viveka. And then he emphasized that the goal of education system that we are trying to build, the knowledge that we are imparting, the goal of that is to transform people from Anudita to Udita. That is the goal of education. I don't know if I have that slide. Yeah, let me pull this one here up here. I need to bring this here since I'm talking about Udita and Anudita. I pull that up here. Okay. So he said that this is the goal of education system, that we have to transform people from Anudita Vivek to Udita Vivek. And this goes to every level. So people even who are from Hindu background, you will find the people of Udita Vivek and Anudita Vivek. People who are mostly living in the Western society, you may find some of them of Udita Vivek, and mostly you'll find them. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that the majority of the people are of Anudita Vivek. So our goal, the purpose of education is to make that transformation. So they say that need, interest, and concern. You know that, right? Need, interest, and concern. What is the need? What is the interest? What is the concern? So the need is that you have to, every system of education that exists, the need is, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, transform this Anudita to Dita. And need an interest. What is their interest? Their interest is that they want material prosperity. And the people definitely want, in different garb, different style, different format. The format does not change. The presentation might change. All they want is fulfill their material desire. That's their interest. So our need and their need is two different things. Their need is something else. Their interest is something else. Their concern is something else. But from our side, our need is that we have to help them transform from Anudita to Udita. And their interest might be something else. But our interest is that how we can serve, how we can work with that person. And concern is that they don't have knowledge, they don't have the information. So he further says that this is a bridge, okay, and it has some challenges, Okay, it's not easy. It's not that there is a river, okay, and you have to have the bridge. You have a bridge. You cannot cross this river so easily. If you try to cross it, you will drown it. So you have to go through a bridge, okay, and you take the anudita person and help them to go to the udita platform. And how you will do that? He said, there are few things that you have to do. The first thing is that you have to teach them, you have to help them develop the faith in bhakti scripture, he says. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, teaching that is talking about bhakti. And then he said that faith in holy name has to be there. Holy name will connect with higher being. And then we have to change their association. These are 5 things you will hear. But you can see how this 5 things applies in terms of Vedic education system. This is coming from Rupa Goswami. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has also said the same thing. So everybody has to work on changing their association. Not necessarily that we have to go to Sunday feast or somewhere, but at least wherever we are, whatever we can, it's very, very important that we work with our association. Try to change the association. In the beginning stage, our acharyas have told that one should not be too bold in their association. Rather, be very careful who you should associate and who you should not associate. And Madhma Adhikari, who are the Madhma Adhikari in their devotion, I'm going a little bit on the technical side of our philosophy, they do this very wisely. Prem, Maitri, Daya, Upeksha. This is Madhma Adhikari. So how they associate? Prem, something superior, they love. Supreme Personality of Godhead, they would love. And equal, somebody who have equal stature, they will have friendship. And innocent people. If somebody is innocent, the Madhmadhikari, the Madhmadhikari will have compassion. But if somebody is envious, Peksha. So Peksha is recommended by scripture. It comes in the definition of Madhmadhikari that to protect oneself, one has full right to do Peksha. This is quality of Madhmadhikari. Premati, if you study 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in Udho Sambad, this verse comes. Premati Daya Peksha, the Madhmadhikari can do that. Okay, so we have to be very, very careful in our association. And then service to Vaishnav. We have to serve the Vaishnav devotees who are self-realized. Tadvasi Panipadana Krishna does say that you have to serve. Go to the person who will self-realize and get the knowledge. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives multiple elements by which this Anudita, unmanifested wisdom personality, will transform into manifested wisdom. But we have to start. That process sometimes might appear too foreign for somebody who has no faith. How you can have the faith in holy name, you know? So we have to, as a teacher, we have to deal with the situation, understand the need, interest, and concern where the person is, and then create a package that would help that person slowly and slowly to transform to with Vivek. Okay, so please remember some of these concepts is very important. We'll talk about practical aspect of it also as we go along. How does it apply? So our teaching is like that, and ISKCON, bigger ISKCON right now, their focus is working with Western community. We have to we have to preach Western people. Try to go to the people who are too far off from this wisdom. Krishna, is very known to certain group of people, but Krishna, as supreme personality of Godhead, maybe is missing. So there we have to establish Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. But there are people who don't even know Krishna. They don't even know anything about Vedic wisdom, right? So there we have to start a little differently. But the goal is that Anudita Vivek people, wherever they have to transform to Udit Viveka. And we as a devotee have to take that responsibility and work on it. But that work will happen only when we have a strong faith in Prabhupada, a strong faith in holy name. We are not the doer. They will do everything. Everything, whatever has to be done, they will do. Who am I to do anything? I'm not doing anything, and I will never do anything. So, not being the doer. So, we have to equip ourselves first, be the right messenger, carry the right message. But that will take a lot of time, a lot of endeavor, a lot of tapasya. Don't think that just reading Bhagavad Gita, I have become a powerful devotee. There are some impurity that has to be worked on. Slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, how much faith we have in Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu, transformation will happen. Things will be understood to us. And then when we impart the knowledge, it will be understood by people. Perfect example is Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, when he spoke, everybody understood, although he came from India. But language was not the barrier because he was touching the heart. So self purification is also very, very important. So we ourselves have to first come to the stage of Udit Viveka, which means have a strong faith in Guru Shastra and Sadhu. Whatever we are teaching, we have to have the or believe into it. We have to believe into. We have to buy into it. That Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. He is cause of all the causes. He is the doer. These are some of the basic belief that we have to have. And if we have those, then we are aligning ourselves with the value system of Guru Shastra and Sadhu. But if we are not, then we are working as per our Swabhava. And Swabhav is coming from modes, passion, ignorance, and goodness. Value system comes from Guru Shastra and Sadhu. Okay, so we have to decide that I'm going to work. Am I going to work with my value system that's coming from Guru Shastra and Sadhu? Or am I going to work with my Swabhava that's coming by modes of material nature? No, our goal is always to take this Swabhava to the value system. It will take time. And that's the process we are in. We are trying to take our Swabhava to the value system. That's called transformation. Takes time. So we are working on ourselves for sure. We haven't been perfected it. So we are trying to take our Swabhava to value system. At the same time, we are trying others, whatever Swabhava they have, slowly and slowly take them towards the final value system. So that's the process. We are working on ourselves at the same time. We have to work on others, but knowing that what is the atmosphere in what surrounding I am working. It's very, very important to know the surrounding. What is surrounding around me that I am working in, and then based upon that, you customize your thing. But our goal is that we all want to be pure devotee, and serve Guru Shastra and Sadhu. Be a good example. Get the mercy of His Divine Grace Prabhupada. That's the purpose of talking about this Vedic education system. So I'll give a pause and hear if there is any realization, any questions, anything anybody has before we adjourn. Thank you. You'll hear so many technical terms, but don't worry, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, we'll get to all of this. Hey, Chris, you are there. You have something? Are you hearing? I see Bill Prabhu also there. Bill Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I'm here. Sorry.
Nice. Sorry, Prabhu, if it's too difficult to understand this thing, but we can talk in person also if you want.
No, it's not too difficult to understand. Um,
Good.
I think you're onto a lot of things. I can add a little bit. I feel like the best way to really show society who we are is by living it. Like we're just kind people, um, empathetic people, uh, caring people. I think that that's what society is lacking right now, and um, I think I think that is one of the greatest attributes to anyone who believes in God. And whoever you're mentioning earlier, you know, not indoctrinating another religion. I don't understand quite that. How okay speaking the Lord's name, Krishna, okay, and then being around other religions, like if we were around Islamic people or if we were around um, Christian people, and so is it basically as we are chanting or we are around them, um, the draw to us or the literature that they read that is given to them is that Krishna working into their lives or is that working as an indoctrination? I'm confused on that a little bit, but no, I'm enjoying this your discussion. I'm learning a lot.
Krishna is working in everybody's lives.
Yes.
And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that everybody is looking for me, but they are looking from different steps. So, for example, you have 1000 step that you have to go on the top,
Okay.
and on top, Krishna is there. To see Krishna, you have to go 1000 up.
This is what we were talking about at the we I think we've had a discussion about this. Yeah,
Yes,
we could talk about this in yeah, we don't need to take up more time in the class.
right. So that's why it is. You know, this Islam, Dharma, and other religions, they are in the different steps, but they are ultimately looking for absolute truth, absolute reality. Anybody has anything that they would like to talk?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavad Prabhu.
Dandavad Hari
So,
Bol.
so I was remembering my childhood days where I used to study social studies, Prabhu. So where so many things I used to study about Mughal empires and Shah Jahan.
Yeah.
We used to write big essays, long essays for them. And later I studied like who are all these people now? Like, they didn't do any good to the society, but we spent so much time learning about them, writing essays, and that's how society is going nowadays. So very unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, I also have studied a lot, Prabhu, in the history and economics book as what's called civil science. They would have lot of, narration about these people, all this, family dynasty, right?
Yeah,
Mung
that is.
Samraj, Mughal Samraj, this Samraj, that Samraj. And out of all of that, they will talk about Bhakti section, where they'll talk about Goswami Tulsidas, Surdas. And whenever they talk about Mahaprabhu, they will have Mahaprabhu like this. I don't know. Now in the books, I don't even see that. And whenever I see Mahaprabhu, I'll just get stuck. Who this person looks so attractive. So yes, Prabhu, so much, we have studied in our books. Right. I'm glad that you remember those. I don't see now in the books, all of those things have changed. I was in India, I looked at the curriculum. Oh my gosh, everything had changed. They have changed everything more on laptop and, coding and mouse. What is mouse? What is keypad? I said, oh my gosh, the curriculum has become more on what they are doing in the modern education, modern system today. Anything else anybody has before we adjourn? Okay, so if there is nothing, then we can adjourn here. I'll see you all next Sunday. Vansh kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhuvya पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णविन की जय सिमल भक्तविन की जय विजय भांगे से प्रभुपाद की जय. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. See you Sunday feast. Please come to the Sunday feast.
Thank
Hare
you very
Krishna.
much, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dhanavad. Hare
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.